we're getting too old to do this foreign travel. Have your bags out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and also you couldn't drive in these countries. We could drive in where you could read signs or you could speak some of the language and so forth. But we decided there's a lot to see in our country. So we decided we'd cross the country driving. Now we said, what should we do? Should we rent one of these, what you call it, van, mobile homes? Shall we rent one of those? Or how should we go? What should we do? So we spent a lot of time deciding how to travel. So I said, you get a mobile home. What am I doing? I'm going to be making beds. I'm going to be uh, cooking meals in the mobile home. I said, this isn't a complete vacation. So so we decided. Harold agreed with me. So we decided that we would take our own car. I mean, we had a good car at that time. Well, over the years, we had good cars. Uh, and we decided that we would not travel the main roads. We would travel, we'd see all the things, the good things too, but we didn't want to always stay on the main roads. We wanted to travel some of the a road less traveled. Was that a poem? um, anyway, and then we would stay at a motel at night. So what we would do, we would get our motel at night, and we would have in the car a cooler in the back seat with ice. And in the morning, when we get up, we would make our breakfast in the motel. I had a little coffee pot. I had a little one burner electric stove, and we didn't eat big breakfasts anyway. It would be cereal and that kind of stuff. And we also had the little electric one burner thing for if we wanted something else anytime. And our lunch, I would make lunch for us in the motel in the morning, which we would eat someplace on the road. There are picnic tables all over the place. You can find a picnic table any place. And so we would look for a picnic table when it would get to be about lunchtime, and we'd have a picnic lunch, and we always had, you know, uh, cold drinks and milk. We always drink milk. We still do. I still do. Uh, so we always had milk in our cooler, and I would I would stop at a market someplace and buy stuff that I could make sandwiches from, and I would make those in the morning before we came, and I'd have that for a few days, and that's the way we would travel. Then at night for our dinner, we'd go to a nice restaurant. Not to what you call it every night. I mean, some of them we'd have. We'd go to like Arby's or one of the what you call it. Some nights we would go to a real nice restaurant, uh, you know, and some nights they'd have a restaurant along with the motel we were going to be staying in, and so we just walk from our hotel room to the wherever the restaurant was. And so that's what we do. But we'd always have one good meal out, not just sandwiches all the time. About 6 weeks, because we would drive from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now, we'd go usually one of the northern routes and then come home a southern route, which was very interesting to do. An interesting thing to do. And if you don't have to get back for any special time, which we didn't, we were retired then, you see. No, we didn't plan the whole thing before. But what we took with us, we said we knew what we wanted to go, a northern route going out and a southern route coming back. Exactly what routes, we didn't know. So we'd get started, and we'd take with us always um, the book of every uh, meeting space of the Rotary clubs where they met. Now, if we would go, we'd say in the morning, let's see, if we go this way, we could have a Rotary meeting here at such and such a place. And we'd say, oh, yeah, well, let's see. Now, if we took this road, because we didn't want to stay on the main roads always. We much prefer the small roads, staying in a motel and eating in a small restaurant, whatever. We enjoyed that more than staying in a big hotel. That's us. And then that we would see where there was a Rotary meeting, perhaps. And usually the Rotary meetings would be, most of them are noontime meetings at a restaurant. And sometimes they would be in the morning at a hotel or someplace that would have um, a breakfast meal. Some of them had evening meals. They can have whatever they want, you see, as far as Rotary. Each club can have what it wants. No, we try to do what they want you to make up one meeting a week, no matter where you are. If you're in your own country, your own town, they want you to go each week for the meeting. And it's usually at a restaurant, so you'd have your meal. So we would try to make up, which we did. We made up all these meetings, but it was fun going into these towns. Some of them were little towns, some of them were big, some of them were more like cities, but not. We never really went to cities. And so within a week, we tried to go to one Rotary meeting. Now, at that time, they had women in Rotary, so I could always go with him. And we had more fun at these meetings because they'd let us, we could do whatever we wanted. uh, at Rotary meetings, we made up, and then on that whatever day that they met. Some of them met on Mondays, some Tuesdays, some Wednesdays, but some days within that week, we tried to make up a Rotary meeting, which was fun, trying to find where these were. On Saturday nights, we go wherever we were staying. We would look for a church so that we could go to on Sunday morning. That was our goal always on Saturday nights. Find a church. Maybe we'd find it in the telephone book or something for that town, and we'd find it. Maybe we'd go out and look for it maybe on that Saturday night so we know where it was on Sunday. Or sometimes we just wait for Sunday morning. But that's what we did. So we met people this way. We weren't just staying in a hotel, and we were meeting people at the place we were staying. We were meeting at restaurants, maybe, meeting at all these various things, which was fun because we were meeting, talking with people that we had some connection with, or in a church, or in a Rotary meeting. Or when we'd stay at one of these motels, we would say to the people, what is there around here to see? What would be near this that we could see? And they would tell us. We'd see things maybe that we wouldn't have seen. It wouldn't have been in a guidebook. Meet people, and we got to see things that were just great. And that's the way we spent one day after another, not knowing exactly where we were going, but we knew the direction. We were heading west, and then we were heading east. Now, our destination always was California, where Harold's sister lived. Violet in California at that time. Our destination was to go and see them, and we'd spend, maybe 3 or 4 days with them. And then because they didn't want us to leave that fast. So we couldn't just stay a day or two. It had to be, maybe 3 days. So we'd always see them on these trips too. Even the Alaska one that we came to Alaska to get to Hawaii, we did. We have made all 50 states. I mean, doing it the way we did, driving in our own car, and then staying overnights in a motel. It was a great way to travel. I'd recommend that to anybody who had the time to do it. Every state is different. Like one place you'd see, oh, this is isn't this wonderful, you know? And then another place, here's just an example. North Dakota. We got to North Dakota. Now I didn't know anything about North Dakota. So we were in this restaurant and there was a group of people there. They were having a good time, you know. They were talking and having fun and all this. And on our way out, we stopped, and Harold said to them, "You sound like a bunch of school teachers." And, you know, so so they laughed. They said, "No, but we've been friends for a long time." So we said, "Oh, well, we're just driving through." They said, "Oh, are you going to spearfish?" And Harold said to them, "No, I don't fish. I'm not a fisherman." And they said, "No, we mean the town of Spearfish." We don't know the town of Spearfish at all. Oh, then are you staying here? We can, we said. So every night during the summer, which we were there, uh, in this town of Spearfish, they put on a like they do over in Aberammergau. And Oberammergau is a, a place in Germany where they have every year they put on the Passion Play. Well, now in this town of Spearfish, during the summer, they put on one of these Passion Plays. We said, "Oh," I said, "Will it be here tomorrow?" "Oh, yes, yes." Oh, we said, "Oh, well, we'll stay and we'll stay over another day and we'll stay and we'll go to it tomorrow." We couldn't that night because you had to have your tickets in advance and all this. So we said, "Oh, well, oh, we'll stay over." It didn't make any difference to us, see? So anyway, we stayed, and the next night, we went to the Passion Play. It was marvelous. It was outside, just like they do in Oberammergau. I can say that, see? And it was for the audience, it was outside, so the stage and all this was outside. Uh, they had camels walking across with this what would have been the stage was outside. All this huge thing. Now, we would not have known that had we not stopped at this town and said to the people, and Harold didn't say to the people, "You sound like a bunch of school teachers." And we talked to them, and they said to us, "Oh, you going to spearfish?" And Harold said, "No, I'm not a fisherman." So we got talking with them, and that's how we found out about this. And it is marvelous. I've got a brochure on it, I've saved, you know, but I never knew about this at all. Neither of us knew about it. Well, we're not sure just where we'd be on that day. Some things we looked a little bit, some things we knew, but we didn't know about this spearfish thing. Now, the audience for this were in grandstands, sitting up, you know, so you were looking down at these people, and it was absolutely spectacular. And it so happened that in the distance, the night of this, there was a lot of thunder and lightning. Now we said, Should we stay here? We're sitting in these metal, what you call it? Well, it didn't, wasn't bad at all, and it was way off in the distance, so we stayed. Now, when it was Golgotha, when Christ was being crucified, uh, you could hear all this thundering off in the distance. I mean, it was absolutely remarkable. We were there at the right time. This has happened to us so often. We were at the right place at the right time. I don't know why, but it has happened so often. But seeing this lightning, thunder, and hearing the thunder and seeing lightning off in the distance while we were watching this, you know, they were people, actual people, you know, we were looking at them. It was it was remarkable anyway. It was something that when we had been over in Europe at when we had been to Oberammergau, they only have this every 10 years, and this was not the 10th year for them to have it. So we could see the theater where it was, but we couldn't see this. But these people in this town of Spearfish, they must do this, get ready for this every year. Probably grow beards and not like the young guys today who grow beards all the time and then take them off. Which Jim, you have it on and you have it off. Next time I see you, you probably have it on. Uh, Took different routes every time. One time it was Route 66, the old the old Route 66. We took that one year, and so we did this 4 times. So I'm getting into that to you for you too. I mean, I won't go into each year that we went, and so that's that'll get too that'll get too much. It was very interesting because we never saw always the same things or the same states even. Because we took different routes and we seeing all different kinds of things, and we didn't know what we were going to see. We weren't really sure what states we were going to be in the next time. But we made sure that we were going to see all of the states. We wanted to do this. Now, we weren't sure about Alaska, that we were going to see Alaska. We kind of figured we'd get to Hawaii one year. But we never thought we'd have to go to Alaska to get to Hawaii. But you see how things fall in our laps. If I told people this, they'd say, "Oh yeah, sure." But I'm telling you the truth. We did whatever was in that state. I mean, uh, the what you call it, the carvings in the rock. Uh, Going through those midwestern states, we drove through many miles of corn and sunflowers and wheat. I mean, it was interesting to see those things, but it isn't something you specifically go to see. But in order to get from here to here, you had to go through here. See? But there's so much to see in this country that you don't really have to go to other countries. The way we did things, it worked for us. Now, it might not work for somebody else because we didn't say, no, we have to go so many miles today, or we have to be at such and such a place at such and such a time. We were doing this leisurely, having a good time, enjoying our time together and all that. I know I had people say to us, "You mean you stayed together for all those weeks? And how many fights did you have?" I said, "We didn't fight. We don't fight." "Oh, come on." I said, "We don't." And, but that's the way we travel. We just did what we wanted, and we did not have to be home at a certain time. We didn't have to. We were tired, but going through towns like that, sometimes we'd see things, and maybe a school would be open in September, October. Why is the school open now? So we'd stop and we'd talk to whomever we could talk to. Maybe if the kids were out playing. I remember one time kids were out playing and it was October. They were out in the playgrounds. We stopped and we went into the school and we said, we're both retired educators. I said, and we're curious, why are they open here now? They said, "Oh, well, this is a potato picking field time, or this is such and such a time," and they closed the schools then. We found that a lot in Canada. After we finished 4 times in the United States, then we took a tour from coast to coast in Canada, going through all the provinces. And we did it the same way. The Canadian Rockies are beautiful. Oh, when you have your own car, you can do what you want when you want. If you had the mobile home, that would be the same too. We would stop in motels, stop early, and get a motel. Stop in time to have a drink first. We always carried a bottle with us. And those days we were drinking scotch. Also, one time across Canada, all the provinces, we got into every state of the union. See, we were retired then, so we could take 5, 6 weeks. That was fine, except one time. This. Well, we're getting off track here now, but I can tell you this story. Jim would get a kick out of this. I think we were in Washington D.C. this time. Well, it can be very crowded. Even back then, it was very crowded, and the streets are laid out specifically specific ways and so forth. So anyway, we would had it was all this traffic, and we were trying to get out of Washington. So all of a sudden, Harold says, "Well, look, what is it with the map? You're going the wrong way now, aren't you?" I had the map upside down. He wasn't too happy that day. Being together 24 hours a day. I had people say to me, "How could you possibly be like that close for 24 hours a day for 6 weeks?" They couldn't understand it. We said, "Why not?" But that's Harold and me. I don't remember when I didn't know him.